Tonight on the Black Channel, am I the only one who noticed that there's no such thing as a cold case, but only for one part of the population? The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program, this will be one of these things right here for the easily led and easily misled and easily influenced and ADHD kids. Let me tell you, they're going to be chewing all the ends of the lead pipes and everything else here. My job as Black America's anchorman is to keep everyone completely focused on where they're supposed to be. And the thing that I'm focused on here is that, by the way, to put this all in its proper perspective, whether it is Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, P. Diddy, you name it. Every time they tell you what they cannot do, oh, we can't do this and we can't do that, and oh, we're not able to, and oh, the evidence, and there's no witnesses, and blah, 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 and all the excuses they give you. Remember, they told you that, oh, you can't indict cops for doing their jobs, you can't do that. Then came Muhammad Nawar, and it's like, oh, we can indict him. We can get him in Minnesota. Couldn't get Geronimo Yanez, and no crime there. Muhammad Nawar, get your ass in this damn cage. Need I remind you all that when we talk about folks who've done stuff that's decades old, they done gone back and grabbed Keefy D. Stuff that's decades old. And of course, they sat on that because they deliberately did so. That was not accidental. That was part of the plan. And yet, when we bring up the mother of white supremacy, Carolyn Bryant, responsible for the murder of Emmett Till, we stomped on that and banged on that and everything else. And please do not forget, it is the Biden administration for all the Kamala Harris ass kissers. It is the Biden administration that sat up here and let her go free. Remember? Gave every excuse in the book. It was your Democrats in Mississippi. Let her go free. Remember? And we can go down the list. Nobody's cracked open the books on Darren Wilson, Daniel Pentalio, George Zimmerman. Nobody's cracked open those books there. All of us sitting here watching it now, we all see it. And nobody's going over there and opening those cold cases. And those are not decades old. You see, when we show up, here they come with they damn excuses year after year, decade after decade, why nothing can ever get done. Nothing can ever get done. That's what happens all the time. When we show up, nothing ever gets done. In the chat room there, I'm very glad to hear from Love Big 41. Very glad to hear that you are concerned about the Republicans in that regard. Let me go ahead and throw open Zoom right quick. We're going to go ahead and get your insights on it because I would not want to go without that. Very clearly, you've got your firm grip on the situation, and I would hate for people to lose out on your insights for it here. So let me go ahead and throw up this link at the top of the chat room here, and you can go ahead and give us a call. You've got 3 minutes to be on the line, because we all know you're not trolling. So we'll give you 3 minutes to go ahead and jump on the line here for us here. So there that goes in the chat room for you. And we look forward to speaking to you. You see, when we show up, they tell you it's a cold case. When we show up, they tell you what they can't do. They send out their Negro bedwench plantation mammies. I'm looking at you, Kirsten Clark. I'm looking at you. And they sit up here and they send out their bought and paid for mammies, the Fannie Willises. They send them out to tell you what they can't do. They send them out to tell you what they cannot do. By the way, let me go ahead and make sure that Love Big stays focused. Love Big, anything else you have to say will be said on the phone lines. By the way, you have 2 minutes. I suggest you spend less time typing, more time sitting back, smiling and dialing. But you're done commenting. See, when we show up, they come out with the excuses, and the slow Negroes are very quick to just go along with it. The slow Negroes go along with that, and they have short memories, so whenever these folks tell them dance, them boots start to jiggling. But there's the rest of us over here who are like, by the way, I couldn't help but notice your cold case detectives are steady on the case. They never sleep. They're never at a loss for words. Flimsy evidence be damned. Why, they don't give you excuses where we're concerned. As a matter of fact, they violate laws up one side and down the damn other. Ain't that right, Bill Cosby? They violate rights up one side and down the damn other. And yet where Carolyn Bryant was concerned, they didn't have that same energy at all. Why, when we parked them right in front of her, they was acting like Stevie Wonder. We don't see nothing. We don't know what you're talking about. Well, what do you mean? Well, we looked into it and don't see very much. One of the most infamous crimes in human history. Carolyn Bryant was responsible for one of the most infamous murders in human history, and they sat there playing dumb. Kamala Harris and the Biden administration sat there playing dumb. Because they want to see who else is going to play dumb along with them. What they didn't like was there was a whole bunch of spotlight on them. That they did not like. That wasn't what they were looking for. When we're paying attention, they're supposed to sit up here and jump to attention. And yet they're not doing that. So then, that's what I'm saying, folks, my ears perk up when I see something like that. I'm like, okay, couldn't help but notice. Like, where were your cold case detectives here? How is it you can get Diddy over the finish line and Carolyn Bryant isn't? Daniel Pantaleo isn't? George Zimmerman, yep, I sure did shoot Trayvon Martin. So we can get Diddy over the finish line, but we can't get Zimmerman over it. Really? We can get any Negro you name, even if he's innocent. Ain't that right, Bill Cosby? We can get you over the finish line, no problem. Doesn't take no 30 or 40 damn years neither. When they decide they're ready to come get you, they come get you. When they're ready to come get you, they come get you. That's the issue I want you all to remember here. When they're ready to come get you, they're ready to come get you. That's not a joke. Okay, well, why come they didn't have this same energy for them other folk? In the chat room here, let me be very, very clear tonight. I'm not in the laughing mood. So you'll sit out for the rest of the day till you can mature some. This is not a joke to me. I'm not laughing about this. This is not funny to me. This is not a joke. I'm not doing it for gags. You came to play games or something, you're in the wrong damn place. This is life and death. This is not a joke. They have locked up black people illegally and wrongfully for so damn long in this damn country. They had to start something called the Innocence Project because that is routine in the American court system, is to lock black folks up so sloppily and so shoddily and so easily. And yet when we present to them a white person who has violated our rights, next thing you know, they doing something different. Next thing you know, they're doing something different. Keep that in mind. See, I don't play those kind of games right there where they sit up here and are blatantly in your face, selective about what they do. And then I sit there and say, oh, well, two wrong don't make it right. And it doesn't make it right. The damn sure makes it even. How is it that every time they come rolling up to your house, you're more guilty than all these other folk over here? Ain't no resources for them. And even if there are resources, oh, well, we don't see nothing. We don't see nothing. And then they get you to play along with it. They have literally indicted both R. Kelly and P. Diddy under the Mann Act. People, the Mann Act's original name was the White Slavery Act, and it was specifically made to target Jack Johnson, but any black male who can legally get his hands on some white woman's rump. They were like, okay, she might be consenting. Please understand what they did. The Mann Act says it doesn't matter if the female is consenting. She cannot consent to sexual activity with your black ass. See, this is the kind of language right here. Lawyers don't like me around when I sit up here and say, by the way, let me decipher what you just said. What you are saying is that she cannot consent. That you don't care what she says or what she does. You are saying, we are telling you that she cannot legally consent to having sex with you. We don't care if she says, I liked it, I love it, I want some more of it. She can be 22 years old or 92 years old. If we say this was not legal, then it's not legal. I just want you to understand that. That's what the Mann Act is. That the state says, we'll be the ones who decide if this was legal. It doesn't matter if it's consensual. She cannot consent. If we say she can't consent, then it doesn't matter what she says. See, that's the thing I want you to keep in mind there. The ADHD children, the lead pipe crack babies, they gonna sit there and suck on their crack pipes and do what they do. But for the functional people, for the mentally functional people, I want you to understand that's what that means. Now, it was called the White Slave Act. There has never been an equivalent one for black women. Never been an equivalent one for black women. Never been. White women can't consent to sex with a black man, and black women cannot object to sex with a white man. You sit up here trying to get something to happen in that regard, and then they come out with the "I'm white and I say so." The Mann Act is literally an "I'm white and I say so." If we say it's illegal, it's consensual. Please, folks, understand, they're not arguing about consent. Diddy's lawyers are literally on CNN talking about, by the way, the indictment doesn't say anything about consent. No one's arguing about that. They're saying, yeah, you can't do that. Even if they consent, it's not legal. So what I'm saying is, what you're saying is, I'm white and I say so. Well, I'm not going to sit up here and play dumb along with you. We got a whole bunch of folk out here who need to be doing time for the rest of their days. We've already presented them to you, and yet there's not a movement or an inch. And we're supposed to sit up here and jump up. And let me explain one more thing to you all. You notice that every time you turn around when it's a black male being indicted, it's always the damn me trial of the century. O.J. Simpson was a washed-up football player, hadn't played in years and years and years. He was no longer really even relevant in sports or anything else. The media created that. The media decided that this will be a story. Please understand that. There was a guy who I think he worked at CBS. He said what the general public doesn't understand. I want you all to learn something. He wrote a book called Clearing the Air, by the way. And he said what the people don't understand is that there's a difference between a news story and a media story. There's a difference between a news story and a media story. News stories are things that the public is interested in. A media story is something that the newspaper or the television station or the radio station is interested in. So their airtime may be devoted to a news event, something you're interested in, but then again, they reserve the right to dismiss what you're interested in. And we will now be discussing the media story, what we want to talk about. So when you come up mentioning George Zimmerman and Daniel Bentalio, that's a news story, meh. Please remember, folks, Ferguson, Missouri was on fire for 3 days before CNN and the cable TV networks showed up. Remember, I must remind you all of that. A decade later, but I got to make sure I keep that in context for you. For a bunch of y'all feel like it was yesterday. A decade later now, when Ferguson was on fire, remember it was 3 days before CNN, MSNBC, they acted like that wasn't even happening. Remember? Y'all were there? This was before the FAA said it was a no-fly zone, by the way. You want to talk about them getting in the gear and getting on code? Ferguson was on fire for 3 days before the national corporate media acknowledged that anything was occurring there. Talking about a complete and total media blackout. How the hell is this happening right outside St. Louis, Missouri? And you don't know about this? Of course they knew about this. Their local affiliates were talking about this. The national media had strict orders, don't say a damn thing. Obama's in office. Don't say nothing. Be quiet. They'll get them niggas out the streets, and then they couldn't get them out the streets. And then finally, they had to break down. Ah, damn it! And they had to show up, and when that happened, I'll be damned. Then they just had to do their dirt in the open. When that happened, they had to come out and do their dirt in the open and just let Darren Wilson off the hook. They had to come do it openly. Couldn't hide their hands anymore. Just had to come on out with it. That was a news story, but the media was determined it can't be a media story. When O.J. Simpson happened, the media decided, you know what? This is going to be payback for what you niggas did in Los Angeles. For those of you who don't remember, you were either too young or you were not born yet. After the beating of Rodney King and the LA riots, not the Rodney King riots, the LA riots, when they let the police off the hook for that, please understand the white media was holding a blood vendetta after that. That, as far as they were concerned, that was supposed to be the way things were. Niggas is supposed to get. The media was furious when that video came out. The media was furious. They hated it. They despised it. You're not supposed to bring undeniable evidence that what NWA and the rest of these folks were saying was real. You're not supposed to present that. And by chance, there was somebody nearby this night. The stuff was so widespread, somebody was nearby with an old-fashioned video camcorder, and it was bright enough at night. Any of you who done photography know how hard it is to do photography at night. Well, it was bright enough that night to clearly show what was happening to Rodney King. The media did not want to report that story. They wanted to do it like everything else and sweep it up under the rug. Oh, well, that's your ass. Oh, well, that's your ass. We were the ones who made sure that that became a news story from coast to coast. We made sure that was a news story. No, it wasn't a media story. It didn't have to be. We picked it up and ran with it. Now I'm telling you, all the way down here in Louisiana, we were talking about it and running with it. That wasn't what they were expecting. So when it got out of hand and something had to be done, once again, they had to just come out with it and let the cops off the hook in the open. Please understand, none of your corporate media outlets were criticizing the verdict, letting the cops off. Nobody was criticizing that. They were not criticizing it. They talking about, oh, well, woe is me. Sucks to be you. But they weren't criticizing that. Then folks took to the streets. And when that happened, we said we're going to give you a news story and a media story. We're going to give you both. That was when the damn tune started to change. But they held a grudge about that because this was the LA riots were the first time in modern history that folk took to the streets and nobody was apologizing. Understand that it was the first time in the modern era that people had took to the streets. They were raising hell, and when the news cameras showed up, they were beating up some of them, and the ones that didn't whoop their asses on, they were not apologizing for it. That sent them furious. And remember, white supremacy don't believe in taking an L. So for those of you who are having a mental schism right now about left-wingers and right-wingers, no, they're all white-wingers. And when they had to suck up such a tremendous L, such a tremendous loss, that they sat there with black eyes and busted lips, they were like, okay, eventually we're gonna get our turn. But they knew better than to try something in mass. They couldn't do something in mass and go round up a bunch of people. That wasn't going to be an option. Things were ready to jump. So they decided to seize upon something. And they chose one individual. Remember, this is the mentality and the philosophy and the ideology of white supremacy. Go grab the big nigga over there. Go grab the big nigga on the plantation. Get the big nigga, the one that everybody knows, the big strong nigga over there. We don't have to lynch all of them. We're going to string him up in front of everybody. That's what we're going to do. We're going to show them that we're in charge. We got the power. Grab the big nigga over there. You see, for those of us who didn't live in California or whatever. They knew O.J. Simpson was out there smacking white women on the ass and every damn thing else for years. They're like, oh, we're going to come get this nigga at some point. We're going to get him. And then they had an opportunity to do so, and they were like, we don't give a damn about justice. This is not about justice. This is about power. String his ass up. String his ass up. And when they got to work on that, that was supposed to be revenge for the LA riots. And then, to their shock and chagrin, it didn't happen. Now, a lot of you remember that the media was mad as hell. How could you find him not guilty? How could you do that? Now, you noticed, for those of us who were there, well, that's a damn radically different response than what you had for the cops that beat Rodney King. Why, you were not outraged at all. You weren't talking like this at all. The cops who beat Rodney King, the media wasn't sitting there with their reporters. How could you do this? How could you do that? Y'all didn't say that at all. What the hell? You told us, oh, well, you got to respect the verdict. They weren't respecting the damn thing with O.J. Simpson. See, that was a media story, how they propped him up, took him out of obscurity and all cameras on him. It's like, oh, did you see how quickly they all got on code? Folks, your local media is mobbed up with the national media. They are all on code. When they target somebody, it's like Village of the Damned. All eyes turn on that person. You didn't know that we were all sitting back waiting to get you, but we did. And then the signal goes out and everybody's eyes turn. It's like, yeah, it's time to get you. Now it's time to get you. And then you're like, man, I ain't even doing nothing. I'm not making any albums. He's not making any albums. He done gave folks, they publish him back. Diddy has been low ass key. And he's like, man, I'm not even worth talking about. He's like, no, we got to get this lynching going on here in a moment. Got to get this lynching going here. So, oh, don't worry. You'll be famous here in just a moment. You'll be famous again here in just a moment. And now all of a sudden, you become a media creation. You become a media creation. Just like they can create a product, or we're going to create you being on trial. All of a sudden, this is the most important thing. So all this other stuff that we came to them with, that's never been blown up when we came with it. They can come grab anything from years or decades before. Oh, now it's important. Now it's important. Now we need to focus on it. When we say so. Next thing you know, Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby hadn't done anything in decades. Okay, grab him on out. Time to go ahead and lynch him. So out of obscurity, he wasn't no headline, anything. Next thing you know, Trial of the Century Part 2. Trial of the Century Part 2. R. Kelly, Trial of the Century Part 3. Diddy, trial. You got a whole presidential election coming up. Oh, we interrupt this presidential election to bring you the fourth trial of the century. Now, wheeling Carolyn Bryant's geriatric ass in the court. Now, that would be the trial of the century, damn near the millennium. Now that's one that's worthy of it. In the chat room, know yourself. You got 3 minutes here to go ahead and be on Zoom for me. Let's go ahead and address your questions there. So know thyself. You got 3 minutes. We wouldn't want to get in the way of you being able to go ahead and voice your opinions here and your thoughts. So we'll give you 3 minutes to go ahead and be on Zoom for us. Since you wanted to be seen, now you will. So folks here, when they come up to you and they go pick somebody and say, oh, this is what you'll focus on. Don't you understand? That's brand creation. That's product creation. The stuff that we said to focus on, they play dumb about, whether it's reparations, hate crime bill, systemic racism. Everybody plays dumb when we show up. They act like they don't know what it is. We don't know what it means. We don't know what we can do about it. When they want to do something, all of a sudden, no, we know exactly what to do. We know exactly what to do. We'll take care of it from here. And don't need any help, assistance, attention, promotion, media attention, public recognition. Don't need any help from you. You don't have to call nobody. Oh, don't worry, we're on autopilot. We'll take care of this. What about the things we're referring to? What about the things we're referring to? That's the thing I want you to understand here. What about the things that we're referring to? When we come up to you and bring you this parade of white supremacists who committed crimes from sea to shining sea, that's not anything, that's not no damn cold case. Now we're supposed to be all impressed. We're supposed to be all impressed about whatever you throw in front of us. I want y'all to understand that. How the hell is it that we got to sit up here and get out in the streets and light things on fire and march and protest and riot and this, that, and the other, and to get something done? These other folks here, it's like when they come for you, it's like, oh, we're ready for it. For Carolyn Bryant, there's not enough evidence. One of the most notorious crimes in human history, not enough evidence. We don't know what to do. Oh, yeah, and vote for us. This November, by the way, hey, niggas, vote for us. That's who they choose to target, and no, it is not lost on me that Joe Biden, Jim Crow Joe Biden, on his way out the door, Jim Crow Joe Biden on his way out the door has said, oh yeah, by the way, let me grab one more nigga for the road. Let me go ahead and take out one more nigga for the road. Since I'm leaving, let me take one with me. You think that's accidental? You think that's accidental? So Carolyn Bryant, we couldn't get no attention on her, and when we finally did, and nothing we can do. Same damn thing you said about Darren Wilson, Daniel Pantaleo, and all the damn rest of them. Nothing we can do. Same damn thing you always say. When it comes to black folk, there's always something they can do. Oh, it's never too late. The evidence is never too thin. That's who they choose to target. What I'm saying is, I take all this here with a jaundiced eye. I'm not going to sit up here and do backflips or whatever and just roll with the damn program. I'm not going to sit up here and roll with the program. When I see something like that happening, when I see them moving like this, I'm going to point out to all of you, by the way, don't fall for it. Don't go for it. When we told them to go pick up Carolyn Bryant, they told us the case was too old. But we got witnesses. Too old. See, what they've gotten, they've programmed so many Negroes in America with a Pavlovian response that when they say something without you even thinking, you just shift over and respond reflexively. You don't even think about it. They move a certain way, you snap to attention. It's, okay, we go this way. No thought involved whatsoever. None. None. No thought involved. Is just completely reflexive. It's involuntary. They tell you, well, we gonna go get this nigga. Okay, they gonna go get. You know he wrong for that. Whatever they say it was, you know he wrong for that. You know he wrong, right? If they come again, well, you know, I mean, them folks at the Justice Department, they ain't right, but you know, he ain't right neither. I'm like, no, people, I meant what the hell I said. If we cannot all be equally comfortable, then damn it, we all gonna be equally uncomfortable. But I'm never going to co-sign some sort of inequitable position. I'm never going to co-sign that. If I see you acting different, I'm like, okay, you acting a whole lot different over here than you did when I walked up on you. When I sent my paperwork to you and said, hey, Carolyn Bryant, we go pick her up. Well, I don't know, we can do that there. Well, wait a minute. People, the Innocence Project, I'm taking this 720 degrees, full circle twice. The Innocence Project would not exist if it weren't for flimsy evidence. When you black, don't tell me a damn thing about a grand jury or anything else. You know the saying that a grand jury can indict a ham sandwich. If a prosecutor wants a grand jury to indict somebody, they can. It's not like your grand jury. It's not like you have a defense attorney on defending you. The grand jury is a damn star chamber. It's not like they have a defense attorney defending you there. When they have a grand jury, you are in absentia. That means you were absent. That means it's just the prosecutor, and they go with whatever the hell he says. There's nothing balanced or fair about that. Okay, well then, damn it, you got no damn choice. Carolyn Bryant, you talking about the grand jury declined to indict, then that means that the prosecutor told them don't. And what I'm saying is I don't play them damn games. I don't play them damn games. So Joe Biden's administration, oh, Carolyn Bryant doesn't need to be indicted. Kamala Harris, you can kiss my ass. When you saw that happen, only way she could have been okay with me is if she had come out there and said, well, you know, I don't agree with what Joe Biden and them just did with Carolyn Bryant, by the way. We fumbled the ball on that. So everything else in the administration, I can roll with that. But this right here, no. Okay, baby, if you went with him for that, you both get to drink from the same cup. You covering for him with that, that's it. I got no use for you. None. None. Please understand, we don't need to play any of these games with any of these people. They want to sit up here and say this every time they turn around. You supposed to sit up here and, ooh, well, you know, we can't support Diddy. I'm not supporting Diddy. I'm supporting black folk. If Diddy can get an indictment, how the hell is it you ignored the one I sent you for Carolyn Bryant? I didn't say Diddy shouldn't get his, although the Mann Act, if you are indicting somebody under the Mann Act, yeah, that tells you how bad that is. If you got to use the Mann Act, that shows you how bad that is. If you got to use that. If that's what you are doing there, you got to use that. That's what I'm saying. We don't have a black equivalent of the Mann Act so we can go round up a bunch of white supremacists. We don't have that. I'm not going to sit up here and cheer that other folks have power and influence that we don't. Hell no. If there is no slavery act, I'm not going to endorse a white slavery act. Some folks are slow. Well, you know what I mean? But just go ahead and tell the truth. But the media say, well, you know, if the feds can, the media say, just go ahead and say it like that. Dumb crayon chewing niggas, just say it like that instead. Well, Jason, you know, I heard it on MSNBC. And if MSNBC says it, it must be right. So say that instead. Just say that one. Just say, I heard it on MSNBC. If CNN say it, it must be true. Just go ahead and talk like your greasy ass grandmama. Talk like that instead. Just let it be known. Just go from there. These folks sit up here and feed you lines about cold cases and old evidence and no witnesses and black folk getting locked up every damn day. Cold cases, no witnesses, no evidence. Getting locked up every damn day with no witnesses and no evidence. Strictly on I'm white and I say so. Hell no. Now let me go ahead and deal with something else because it is a bunch of slow niggas out there. Let's be very clear about that. It's a bunch of slow niggas out there. Y'all sit up here and Jason, see the problem is, let me talk. Dumb niggas always want to be heard. You call names all you want to, let me talk. O.J. Simpson, he was chasing all them white women's. And Bill Cosby, he had a whole New York Magazine front cover full of white women's that looked like Hollywood squares. How's I supposed to support that them? It's not about supporting them. The issue for O.J. Simpson was all we were doing was demanding that the playing field and the society needs to be balanced. The white women are an incidental characteristic. The dominant society gonna have to live with that. And by the way, they were angry as hell. Y'all saw it. O.J. Simpson, first thing he did when he got out of that courtroom and said, where the white women at? Oh boy, that hurt him more than anything. Oh, that destroyed him. He walked out of that courtroom. Y'all remember the first thing he did was get a white girlfriend. Oh, they were furious. Talk radio, sports radio. They were way before Stephen A. Smith. Talk radio and sports radio, they were out of their minds with rage. They were out of their minds. They were insanely outraged that the first thing that O.J. Simpson did after the trial, the first trial, got a white girlfriend. I'm down here in Louisiana there. Why would a white woman want to date him? Why would she want to do that? What I'm saying is this, you want to know one of the real problems we have? The reason why you can't let dumb niggas in the conversation is because dumb niggas don't know when you're winning. Dumb niggas are so used to losing, they don't even have a play written up for winning. They don't know when they're winning. I'm like, you can judge a man by their adversaries. Take a look at what our enemies were saying. Take a look at what they were saying after that. This man's just out there living his life. They didn't give him the Kyle Rittenhouse treatment. They didn't give him the Kyle Rittenhouse treatment up until the day he died. See, that's the game I'm playing in this regard right here. I'm like, okay, I'm not playing against Diddy. I'm playing against our enemies. These are just pawns on the board. I'm playing against them. The goal should always be for them to take the L. So when you see your enemies sitting up here saying, hey, this is what we need to do. This is a basic tactic of warfare. You never do what your enemy is asking you to do. They show up and tell you, okay, we're going to lynch this nigga over here. Don't y'all not like this nigga either? All these white women he was dating, we going to go ahead. Don't worry. We're not going to lynch Carolyn Bryant, but we'll go ahead and lynch this nigga over here for you. You're supposed to be smart enough with two brain cells to say, wait, hold on a minute. No. Take your hands off of him. Well, why? Take a look at all this stuff over here. Yeah. Well, then why are you telling us to take our hands off him? Because you want to do something to him. So you don't ever make a move. Your enemies don't ever make a move that is not to their advantage. So if they are demanding to do this to this person, it must be because it in some way gives them an advantage over you. Your job is to say, yeah, whenever they do something, freeze. Freeze. I don't know what you have in mind, but you gonna stop. Well, stop until when? Until we say something needs to be done to him. When we roll up and say something needs to be done to him, then we gonna do it. Well, Jason, what about Cassie? What about Alex Fine? Yikes. Okay. If we're gonna play that game, by the way, far as I'm concerned, you got birds of a feather, but what I do recognize is symbolism when I see it. Bill Cosby, they've been waiting to get him for decades because how dare you establish yourself as America's dad? For those of you who were not born in the 1980s, or you were born in the 80s and don't remember, The Cosby Show was the single biggest thing in television history. It wasn't just the biggest show on TV at that time. The Cosby Show was the biggest thing that ever got put onto a cathode ray tube. It was the single biggest thing ever. And Bill Cosby, showing a dignified, intelligent, professional black family, which he said was the antithesis of what they had on Good Times, brought to you by Norman Lear and his ilk. A sophisticated upper middle class black family dealing with sophisticated upper middle class issues in a country telling you that family doesn't exist. And then next thing you know, it did. And it was the biggest thing that ever happened on television. And Bill was so good at what he did that white folk wanted him to be their father. Now, you can object to whatever you want to about crossover appeal. But the bottom line is they represented us well, and when it was done, everybody in the society wanted him to be their father, and they never forgave that. Michael Jackson, you had white women swooning and passing out at his concerts, and they never forgot that. I'll be damned. And then Michael Jackson committed the ultimate sin. How dare this nigga bed the precious lily white offspring of Elvis Aaron Presley? Well, I thought you people invented emasculation. I thought that was y'all's bag. I thought y'all loved that. Why, you all spent centuries indulging in emasculation. Michael Jackson, all he did was, and he actually married the chick. And they were beside themselves. It's like, oh, dude, they are going to hunt you till the day you die. till the day you... No, marrying Elvis Presley's daughter was a bigger offense than the Beatles catalog. They can always make another boy band. That memory has to live in their minds forever. That for a brief time, Michael Jackson was in the damn family tree. Say whatever you want to. For a minute, Michael Jackson was in the family tree. Not only is he stomping on Elvis's grave, he done dug him up and said, hey, want to watch a flick? Let me sit your ass up over here. Want to watch me do some things with your daughter right quick? Here, let me hold your eyes open for you. For those of you who were not there, don't remember, that was in, they were just like, oh my God, we're in bizarro world. The world is coming to an end. How dare he flaunt this? They didn't even think it was possible. Now they got to live with it, and he was the biggest thing in the world, so they had to cover it in the media. Oh, they were insane. Lisa Marie, why would you want to marry him? Why? You ain't never asked nobody else that. They never asked Princess Di, why would you marry Prince Charles? They don't ask white folk that. When you black, why would you be with him? When it's a white woman, why would you do? It's not how did y'all get together? It's why would you be together? Why him? So what I'm saying is, I'll be damned. Well, when I start seeing that happen with your people, when y'all start doing that, and then you'll have to do it for a couple hundred years. By the way, when that happens, then maybe I'll have a different perspective on it. But at this point, oh, no. No, I see the game you're playing. You're going to pick and choose targets. You're going to pick and choose targets. I just don't play that game about picking and choosing targets. We spent the last 50 damn years saying, what about Carolyn Bryant? We spent the last 50 years saying, what about Carolyn Bryant? We spent the last decade, what about George Zimmerman? We spent years now, and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are showing you their ass. They're showing you that. I just don't play that game. I don't play that one at all. I'm not concerned about what's happening among them other folk. I want to see what's happening over here. The so-called Justice Department can mobilize for Diddy, but the Justice Department can't mobilize for Darren Wilson, Daniel Pantaleo, George Zimmerman. It can't mobilize for them. Black folk are dead and got covered. The killers get covered by the system at the highest levels. You and me cannot pay for that type of preferential treatment. There's nothing you can do. You don't have enough money. There's no amount of money that can buy you that type of preferential treatment. And all I'm saying is, yeah, we're not going to play this game with you. Not going to do that. It's an election year, and they said we paused this election to have the lynching of Diddy here. Want y'all niggas to see this on the way out the door. And I'm like, yeah, we'll lynch Diddy right after Carolyn Bryant and Daniel Pantaleo and George Zimmerman. We'll get to Diddy right after them. You want me to show up for that? Yeah, I'll get to him right after we get to these others that we gave you that list of. I'll come join you for Diddy right after we finish them. That's the attitude that all on-code people have to have and adopt. We're not going to play any more of this damn head fake game. We'll see y'all's lynchings right after you take care of these other folks. Same thing with, as we say, reparations. Don't come to me with any straw men. Don't come to me with any distractions. Don't try to change the damn subject. My answer to everything is cut the damn check. Well, what about all this other stuff? We'll deal with that right after you take care of this issue I brought you. Do you all understand? I'm completely consistent. Yeah, I'll deal with what you talking about right after we take care of this business that I brought you already. Right after we take care of this work that I already brought you, I'll see if I can make time for what you talking about. But I'll be damned if every time I turn around, you telling me, well, what you brought, I can't get to it right now. I mean, a little bit later there, I can't get around to it there. You know how it is, man. It can be rough there. We'll see about that later. Okay, well, you know what? We'll see about your garbage when we get done with this over here. Yours can wait. It can wait. It can wait. And if you want us to turn out the lights on the freak off, well, right, you need to hurry up and indict Carolyn Bryant. Oh, you let her die. Well, I guess it's a blood debt now. But by the way, you still got time for George Zimmerman and the others there. So you better hurry up and indict them. You better hurry up and get them. You want us to come sit up here and come stomping down the street? Oh, we need to get Diddy? Well, then right after you get all these other folk we've been talking about now for decades, right after you get them. Oh, we're busy. Well, you better not be too busy for this. We're too busy to help you with anything you talking about. You get these other folk that we brought you that list of. You go down that list, you get all of them. Get all of those, and then after you've gotten all of those that you've been sitting here playing dumb about and ignoring, then we can talk about your list. But we are not going to discuss your list until we discuss ours. Now, let me be clear about a few things here, folks. Let me be clear about a few things here. Yes, the con job and the screw job is in full effect. It certainly is. Down the line. Diddy doesn't actually own stuff of his own. He owns things that he's developed through other people. So you can't go after that intellectual property and assets. I mean, you can, but he's not going to harm that. This isn't like the Cosby Show where you got to take Cosby off there and whatnot. The music that he put out and everything that he produced and all that, you can go ahead and reclaim all that. Doesn't have to give him nothing. Never have to hear his voice again. You can go ahead and grab all the wealth and sequester all of that and confiscate all of that and never have to mention his name again. So that's not lost on me. Yeah, well, don't worry about your kids getting it. We're going to go ahead and confiscate all that right quick. And then we going to get it. So don't expect the Cosby treatment. Oh, we can't play this music or whatever. No, they'll still be playing it. Still be playing it. I want folks to understand what being on code is. And being on code is, by the way, we brought you a list of people to get, and you ain't touched them. I'll be damned if you're going to get us outraged when every time you show up with your list, we're supposed to get outraged and do backflips. And meanwhile, you sitting up here showing your ass, acting like you're pretending you didn't see the one we've given you. And you still sitting on it today. Every time we go talk to them about our list of people, I don't know about that then. I don't know about that. Ooh, yeah, it's hard to do that. Well, then it's gonna be impossible for me to help you. If it is hard for you to see about our list, then it's impossible for me to help you with yours. I want to go ahead and remind you all of one more thing right here, by the way. Let me remind y'all of one more thing. You need to take a page out of the book of Jewish society. Jewish society does not help you go round up their people. White folk don't enable us and empower us to go round up white people. They said the war on drugs, mass incarceration. But when it was time to expand the war on drugs for white folk, hey, here comes cocaine and heroin and prescription pills. All of a sudden, drugs are legal. Drugs are decriminalized just that quickly. When it was time for us to gather up white folk in mass and give them white mass incarceration for them, they took the tools out of our hands. Ain't no mass incarceration. But hey, all those drug addicts over there, we gotta lock them all up. Them and all their prescription pills. Nigga, you ain't locking up nothing. Just as soon as it was time for us to lock them up in mass, then they took away the authority to do it. Right when we showed up to say, you know what, this mass incarceration thing, yeah, as a matter of fact, anybody with prescription pills, get this paddy wagon filled. Oh, no, we're not doing that anymore. You can't be the dumb, slow nigga for the rest of your damn life when you see all this happening. You see the disparity in treatment here. You see this conscious. You can't be the damn dumb person your whole damn life. Well, some of you can. But you can't be dumb your whole damn life when you see that. Every time that it's time for us to gather them up, they don't let us mass incarcerate them. And if you want to get a white person convicted for a crime against us, oh, you have to have incontrovertible evidence. It's got to be on video. It's got to be 15 witnesses. Can't be no holes in it or it didn't happen. Or it didn't happen. If you don't have all that, it didn't happen. Now, in Jewish society, they got tunnels up there in New York they done dug. They got all kinds of stuff happening. They don't enable or authorize you and me. They don't, man, they're not going to do an interview where they sit up here and talk about, oh yeah, go grab the rabbi over there. No, we ain't doing that. Go grab them Hasidic Jews. Oh, no, we ain't doing that. I mean, they done got to the point that they got tunnels underground like the Mutant Ninja Turtles, man. I mean, it's crazy what they got going on up there in New York. I'm not talking about little small sewer tunnels. I'm talking about like, because sewer tunnels not really that big. No, they got big tunnels. You can walk. You can stand up and walk in those things. It's like Master Splinter is hanging out down there. On the one hand, you want to say this is criminal. On the other hand, by the way, I bet you it costs them a hell of a lot less to dig them tunnels than it does for y'all to dig them subways. It costs you $1 billion a mile to build a subway in New York City. Meanwhile, them Jews down there. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh, they did it for a fraction of that. You might want to get some They've had so much time that they got new engineering techniques. Folks, it sounds crazy and it sounds hilarious until you realize Jason's not lying. This is a real thing. There really are, folks, we are in just this, white supremacy is an insane alternate reality to exist in. It is just this insane alternate reality. You got stop and frisk. At the same time they had stop and frisk, these guys are digging tunnels to Mars. And by the way, nobody's talking about it today now, are they? They talking about Diddy and every damn body else. By the way, yeah, that disappeared damn quick now, didn't it? Tell me about the trial of the century. Tell me about the indictments. Tell me about any of that. Tell me about the trial of the century there. Tell me about the RICO statute. I want to remind you all of something here. Brief aside, folks, and this is what I'm talking about, who they choose to target. For those of you who did not read the indictment because you can't be bothered or you're not literate enough to be able to read an indictment. By the way, for those of you who didn't read the indictment, this is literally what they're saying in the indictment. Listen to this next part. You thought the Mann Act was bad? This is literally what they said in the indictment. That Diddy, now he's being charged with running a criminal racket, a criminal enterprise. The record business is not the enterprise because selling music, well, the profit that you get is money. They're saying that Diddy is being indicted and that the profit that he is receiving, They're indicting him because the profits he's receiving, this is literally what they're saying, the profits he's receiving is sexual gratification. What? I'm not kidding. Read the damn indictment. They're literally saying that this is a criminal enterprise, but they're not doing it to make money. The enterprise's goal isn't to make money. The enterprise's goal is sexual gratification. What? Read the damn indictment. That's literally what they're saying. No one is saying that he's making money trafficking people. They're saying that, oh no, the profit, this is a criminal enterprise. That's literally the words they're using, a criminal enterprise, and sex, all that sexual gratification is the profit. People, I don't know what the hell you thinking here. You think Jim Crow is over? For those of you who didn't know, yeah, that's literally what the indictment says. All you all heard was criminal enterprise, running a racket. Racketeering means criminal enterprise. Well, okay, you're saying that he was making money off his freak-offs? No. Well, then what was he getting? He was using money to earn more money? No, to earn sexual gratification. All that sex he was having. For those of you who didn't know how the baby oil thing ties into it, the damn indictment is telling you it's a criminal enterprise and the profit is he's doing it. They didn't say he's doing it for money. It says doing it for sexual gratification. And we're going to indict you under that logic. The profits are money. Panty profits. Well, I guess for the dudes, there's a different P, but you want, okay, so Diddy can be indicted for a criminal enterprise that doesn't earn money. As a matter of fact, he's spending money to get sexual gratification, and that constitutes a criminal. Folks, you should be embarrassed to even say that. And there's a whole damn federal lawsuit with all of our tax dollars going into it. That's literally what it says. Read the indictment. Nowhere in there does it say that he was the freak-offs. He's doing that to make money. But they're saying that that's the criminal enterprise. He's spending the legitimate money from his record label, so it's clean money. Well, yeah, but it becomes dirty when you're sex trafficking. Well, okay, well, where's the enterprise part? Because he makes money off the records, that's not criminal. Well, yeah, but it's criminal because he's doing it for sex. That's what you're earning. You're getting, he's not getting money, you're getting sexual gratification. No, some of you think, Jason, that's not really what it says. Yeah, that's really what it says. You're doing this for sexual gratification. Nobody is saying that he's making money off of it. Then what are you criminalizing? What is he getting? How is this a enterprise? How is this a business? Now they're telling you that getting sex is the same as getting money. But Carolyn Bryant, there wasn't a legal justification to indict her. Same feds, same Justice Department. The very same one telling you all here, by the way, yeah, we can't do anything about Carolyn Bryant. The same folk who just told you that Diddy getting sex is the same as making money as an enterprise. Oh, but Carolyn Bryant, we ain't got enough to get her, though. We ain't got enough to get her. There is no law and no rule that can justify us getting at her. Folks, you can listen to the Slow Bus Kids all you want to for the rest of your damn life. Just understand, when you stick around fools long enough, people start being able to tell the damn difference. I recommend that you get something a little bit different going on there. However, you might disagree. Therefore, the telephone lines are now open. Well, sorry, the Zoom is now open. The link is pinned there at the Zoom, so you can go ahead and dial us up over there if you want to. That's available to you as well. I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who has contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to Cyberdyne100, Patrice Beavers, everybody else who's contributed to the program. Thank you very much for your support tonight. We appreciate that as well. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, might take a few phone calls here. I'm not going to be on long tonight because I got to get back to working on 8 a.m. Speaking of which, working on 8 a.m.
This is Dame Dash with Jason Black.
Hi, I'm Teddy Riley with Jason Black.
My name is Mahmoud Abdurraouf.
Hi, I'm Muggsy Bogues with Jason Black.
This is Jada Kiss with Jason Black.
And Black Channel Films.
With Black Channel Films.
And Black Channel Films.
For Black Channel Films.
8ammovie.com. That is 8ammovie.com. You're definitely welcome to join us. New York City, it's coming. It is coming like an asteroid, middle of Times Square, so you are welcome to join us there as well. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we'll take a few of your calls and more. This is the Black Channel.
Are you looking for real financial advice? Thornton Financial is here to help. Certified financial planner Jason Thornton specializes in tax and wealth planning. Are you living paycheck to paycheck with no retirement plan? Do you need help with the IRS? Book your free consultation with Thornton Financial today. Budgeting, savings, debt management, and retirement. Even tax debt settlements. Get the advice you need to live your best life. Book your free consultation appointment today. Go to www.thornton-financial.com.
Hi, I'm Mr. B, and I welcome you to visit my website, mrbtheteacher.com. Explore our site for my latest book, my blog, and podcast that are packed with insightful articles, tips, and strategies to help students navigate the educational journey. Need more help? Check out my education consulting and tutoring services for engaging lessons, downloadable resources, and personalized learning plans. Please join us at mrbtheteacher.com today. Thank you all for listening.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slavery and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And we're going to go ahead and jump over here on Zoom. Let me go ahead and see if I can get, I think Onan is up here on Zoom with us here tonight. Let's see if they are paying attention here. By the way, they'll be up on it. Might have this Zimbabwe broadband going. All right, Onan, what's on your mind?
All right, what's going on, Jason? So I wonder if the whole Diddy scandal is going to touch off on other people because if you look at some of the photos with Diddy, you'll see, people like Busta Rhymes, and it was a few other people, and then also his connections in the music industry, with so many different artists, because he's been in the industry for over 30 years. So I wonder if Diddy's going to be used as the thin end of the wedge in order to prosecute other Black men, or just find fault with them and hold it over their head.
I mean, look, it's the most obvious thing in the world. We've all been talking about for decades now, that if you are Black and you gain a substantial amount of money or whatever, you either going to have to coon all the damn way out, or at some point they're going to come and try to claw it back. Especially if you have something that has enduring power to it. Diddy got a bunch of kids. So did R. Kelly. So I'm like, okay, well, he can pass that down. Oprah ain't passing it down to nobody. The white men who gave it to her, when she gets done, it's going to go to other white folk. So she has been a net win all the way around. So there's no reason to take nothing from her. She's on the plantation and never getting off. These other folks with their intellectual properties and whatnot, if we can't steal it from them, let's go ahead and wreck it from them, because they got other folk who can get it.
Right.
Now,
it's a shame.
That's the attitude that we need to have about that, because understand something. They don't let us destroy their intellectual property. They don't allow any of us to go pick and choose who we gonna get. They don't allow that. And if they're showing you somebody like that, they're doing it for a reason. As far as the other folk you were talking about, just understand, in their cases, when you talk about the other people involved, they kind of got a little bit of a motive where they are concerned. But then again, it's not like you're going to have a bunch of help in that regard. It's not like they're going to have a bunch of help. It's not like they were really rocking with them to begin with, and all they can disown it and keep going till it's their turn.
Yeah, but see, that's the part that I don't know. I wouldn't say fearful, because I do believe that, somebody who's done bad things, it's really undeniable. If you look at the video, with Puff Daddy or P. Diddy assaulting Cassie, I mean, that was hard to watch, but it wasn't anything more egregious than, what happened to Emmett Till, and the fact that Carolyn Bryant was able to live the rest of her natural life unprosecuted. You made a
Geronimo Yanez gunned down Philando Castile on video, and that didn't cause these folks to respond like this. They didn't think nothing of that. This is somebody got gunned down on video. And he is just the latest in a long line. And what I'm saying is, by the way, when you're Black, they don't have that response for you. I showed y'all up there in New York, the Black fellow on the subway got gunned down by the white Hispanics there. Where was that response from the society? That selective outrage garbage. I'm just like, I'm not going to play that game with you. I'm just not going to play that one with you. We watched Tamir Rice get gunned down. We were the ones outraged, the dominant society. Oh, well, he had a toy gun. It's his own fault there. They were not shocked, outraged, so now they're clutching their pearls. I'm like, okay, y'all wasn't clutching the damn thing when we showed up.
All right. Yeah. I think it makes it easier when you demonize an individual in the media. It's like you're kind of softening the target. I get the feeling that P. Diddy isn't really liked that much in either social media or in the music business, but people just kind of keep him around because he's so influential. But once white supremacy is able to make their move, they're going to pounce on him, and you constantly soften the target by criticizing them, make accusations about his sexuality, whether
well, let me explain to you why that's efficacious here. You all remember Kyrie Irving. Now, I told you all what was going to happen with that, and it went down exactly the way that I told you it would. I said, Kyrie Irving, he's only got one chance to get through this mess. If Black society rallies around him and says, we rocking with him no matter what, y'all need to leave him alone. We ain't going to stop rocking with him just because y'all trying to kick dirt on him. I said, if that happens, Kyrie's got a chance to make it through this. What do you know? That is exactly what happened, and he's still in the, well, last time I checked, he was in the league. I hope he ain't going just yet. But that was what happened. Diddy and the rest of them is the same thing. The whole point of them coming out this way is you have to undermine their support among black folk. If black folks supported O.J. Simpson, black folk rode for O.J. Simpson because we saw what it was in the wake of the L.A. riots. We saw what that was. Take a look at the result. Bill Cosby alienated a bunch of folk. R. Kelly alienated a bunch of folk. Diddy hadn't done himself a lot of favors either. So the real thing is what they've learned is we got to make sure that black folk aren't going to defend you. If they do, that's usually going to be enough to tip the scales in your favor to get you off the hook, which is why so many of these folk, when they get in trouble, Candace Owens and others, they go looking for their black card because they understand when the dominant society turns on you, the only thing that's going to help you is if we rally around you. That's why it's so important to them to make sure we don't do that. Furthermore, I'm not even advocating that we should. Let me be clear about that. I'm not advocating that we should. What I am saying is that I'm not going to jump up here because they throwing out indictments. I'm reading this. I'm looking at it. I'm not going to just jump up here because they're saying something.
All right. I wanted to ask one more question because you had mentioned Bill Cosby. And I wonder if the comments that he made about poor black people, specifically the pound cake comment, I'm not sure if you remember that, but he had made a comment about inner city youths basically creating their own demons by engaging in certain behavior. And I wonder if that type of rhetoric kind of put him in disfavor amongst black people.
Well, it wasn't just that. It started long before then. In comedy circles, Bill Cosby made it very clear among his peers that he wasn't really rocking with them like that. That was the difference. Right. So Red Fox, Richard Pryor, Dolomite, Eddie Murphy, you know, what Eddie Murphy said in Eddie Murphy Raw, that was a true story. You know, that Bill was like, oh, why you got to do all that curse and all this stuff right there? And that's why it was a true story that Eddie talked to Richard. That was the thing that Bill was going around doing that. Remember, Richard Pryor had a TV show. He had a couple of them. But Pryor's Place was probably the one. Yeah, Pryor's Place was probably the one that folk may remember the most. Richard Pryor had a TV show at the same time. He didn't get the support that Bill got or whatever, although it wasn't a sitcom either. But what I'm saying, though, is that it was very clear that Bill was aiming to go in the direction. He had been working in television, you know, PBS and some other, and I Spy. So he learned the business. He got connections and then goes to Cosby Show. No problem. Great. Wonderful. But Bill, it was very clear that Bill was moving in his own lane. He wasn't trying to collaborate with anybody else. And if he wasn't really trying to fool with you. Okay, just remember, dude, that's a contract you signed in. And if these folks, you're ingratiating yourself with the white folks, they're in the power structure. And if that power structure ever turns on you, who are you going to call then? Well, I'll just be big enough. They can't take me down because they'll go down with it. No, they waited 30 years and then came and got you. They waited till you were no longer relevant and then came to get you. So what I'm saying is that he never had folk rallied around him in the first place. This started the pound cake thing was a result of that. He had been doing this the whole time. Remember Harlem Nights? He didn't want to be a part of that. He had made it clear he wasn't really going to work with anybody else. So when he should have been building bridges, he was building walls. And for a time, it was good. For a time. And then eventually it's like he woke up one day and there wasn't really anybody the only folk who would come to his defense were the folks who had worked for him on the Cosby Show. Okay, Eddie Murphy and the rest of them cats, they're the biggest names in the world now. That's who you need. You need them. So when Eddie and Dave and Chris Rock and them, when they all got on SNL, and I played that one, when they all got on there together, it was like, yeah, Bill, yeah. It'd be nice to have some support now. When we were coming up, you made a point to not support us. It'd be nice to have some of that support now, wouldn't it, Bill? So what I'm saying is he started that a long time ago, and he'd have been better off if he hadn't done it. Thank you very much for giving us a call. I'm not saying he deserved it. I'm just saying, hey, folks, you play that game at your own risk. All right, let me see. Okay, we got Brother Elijah on the line for us here.
Hey, peace, big brother Jason. How you doing?
All right, Brother Elijah, what's on your mind?
Hey, big brother. Excellent broadcast. I want to give you a pre-question before the question, big brother. Did you call it or did you call it? All right. What I mean by that, the brothers and sisters here need to re-listen to your Christmas on Fire that you did last year on December 25th, and you broke it down. This exact thing about Diddy. This is all about a money grab. Okay, that's all it is. Because if they coming up with these bogus charges, the writing is on the wall. They trying to get that money back by any means necessary, and everything like that. Now, I got a question for you on this one. How did you know that this was gonna be coming down the pipe hole? What was the signs there?
It's been coming. When you take a look at the way they operate, it's the same damn textbook. Interscope Records and all these big distributors and stuff, they chose the niggas they got well. I mean, I'm not saying that Eazy-E was not an enterprising individual. He damn sure was.
Yes,
but
sir.
they knew what they were getting. I mean, NWA only had one album before the group started splintering. Why did it start splintering? Because Eazy-E was hugged up with Jerry Heller. So Jerry knew as long as that was the case, he had his hooks in him. Death Row Records, in reality, actually suffered from the same disease. So you had a bunch of folk over there dealing with Interscope and Jimmy Iovine and them, and they knew who they were boosting. So they choose the record labels they boost up. They choose the record labels they blow up. They choose these people. You don't get it by accident. Sean, how did P. Diddy start out? What was a backup dancer for Madonna?
Think so.
He was a known quantity, folks. It's in the media, politics, whatever. If they put a big bag behind you, 9 times out of 10, you're a known quantity. They know they're the ones who made you, so they already know how they're gonna break you. And it's only a matter, as I said, unless you coon all the way out and just give up every damn thing you got. Let me tell you right now, y'all are never gonna see this happen about Rihanna. Never gonna happen with her. But Jason, why not? Let's just keep it real. She got a 360 deal. How the hell is it that Rihanna was able to get a makeup thing off the ground and Beyonce Knowles couldn't? Beyonce ain't been able to get a damn thing to crack off except her music. Anybody remember Ivy Park and everything else? Beyonce has tried to diversify into a bunch of other things. She could never get no traction. Rihanna cracks it off first time out the gate with Sephora. That's a 360 deal. That was given to you. On the condition, though, we now have a contract on your ass for the rest of your days. We get a piece of everything. So, of course, we're going to boost what you're doing because we own you now. We own you now. Oh, yeah, one more thing in case you all think I'm lying. By the way, has Rihanna attempted to diversify out into anything else other than Fenty?
No.
What? See, there's a bunch of folks out there got 360 deals and they got movies in Hollywood and stuff like that. And your 360 deal means that they get a piece of everything, even if it's not music related, even if you went and got it on your own. So you go get in a movie, they get a part of that too. So as a result of them doing one thing for you, they are now in your pockets for the rest of your life for everything you do. And what do you know? Next thing you know, they ease back on how much they start doing when they start counting their money and realize I'm not getting any. They gave me a big thing up front, at least it seemed like that. Now they take a carve of everything. It kills the incentive to be creative and come up with anything else. Because they're going to get that. They're going to get that. So I just wanted you all to notice that, by the way, just in case you think I'm doing that, and make things even more complicated, truthfully speaking, they don't really need her anymore in that regard. They have rights to her name, so they can actually go off and go do some other stuff just off her name and don't even really need her to be involved anymore. So if you do that, they're never coming for you. They own you. But for the rest of you, if we can figure out a way to get you,
yes, sir,
then we gonna hold this card in our back pocket till we've juiced all the value out of you. Because when you're talking about Ciroc and all those other things that Diddy was involved in, he's already basically given them what they wanted.
Yes, sir.
He's boosted their name recognition. They got the money off of it. They don't need him anymore. Now that they don't need you, now it's time to go liquidate this asset before he can pass it down to his kids, and maybe one of them has some sense and does something that we can't predict. That's the reason.
I got another question, big brother, because this is what tonight's program is very concerning, and I say that on the grounds of this. If they keep doing this to our black icons, our black celebrities, all right, I'm not here to judge them, all right? They did what they did. I think this is unfortunate. But I'm looking at them being a proxy for us. If they keep doing this to our black icons, trying to claw everything back that they did give them, or they made them believe that they promised them that, what would they really do to us with the reparations?
I mean, well, they're already trying to do that part of it. The real takeaway from this is, folks, I've told you decades ago, it is better to have $1 million that you own than $100 million that you don't. Damn! I told y'all this 20 years ago.
Yes,
it's
sir.
better to have $1 million that you own than $100 million that you don't. And the folk they've been going after, they got hundreds of millions of dollars. It's not their money. It's not theirs. Do you realize Diddy is damn near in a no-win situation? If he fights this and loses, he's going to go away for years. If he fights this and wins, it could cost him $20, $30, $40, $50 million to fight the feds. Think about that for and then it's maybe a Pyrrhic victory, because how much of his empire is going to be left once he's done? He's already had to start liquidating everything that walks, rolls, or flies. So think about that for a few moments. Even if he wins, it could be ruinous, even winning. Well, Jason, what do you do? All I'm going to say is there's one big parallel between Diddy and Bill Cosby. They alienated everybody around them.
Yes, sir.
I'm sitting here talking about they alienated everyone. Instead of spending the last 2 decades making sure everybody's good, everybody's straight, so that if the day ever comes that this happens, they'll put themselves on the line for you. When they came for Diddy, there was no one standing around to protect him.
As you predicted, big brother.
No one. They making songs against him. If there was one thing that could have saved him, that would have been it. It's very, very difficult for us as the general public to defend him at all when everybody around him is talking about, hey, we broke and he's the only one got anything. And he's sitting over there cheesing. It's like, okay, dude, you're basically going to have to walk a perfect line for that consequences not to happen to you. And what are the realistic chances of that? Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Michael here on Zoom. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Michael up here on Zoom. All right, Michael, you're on Zoom. What's on your mind?
2 questions. If Diddy has duplicate copies of the pre-golf tapes at an undisclosed location, can he use them to his advantage in some way, shape, or form? And the second question is, does the indictment mention something about racketeering? And if so, can they take all of his assets, or can he negotiate to keep some of them?
Yes, the indictment is specifically about racketeering. They're definitely coming for all of his assets, so that's why Diddy started liquidating things before this indictment came down. So we've all known this was coming for a while. Now, I'm talking about before Cassie. We've all known this was coming for a while. So that's what his attorney said. They said in their filings in response in the court that we've known this was coming for a while. That's why Diddy was never in the same city with his jet. You know, he had the jet chartered out, so he had a company that was renting the jet out for him. But he was never in the same city with the jet, so they made sure not to do that. You know, he's been selling houses and moving things around to start liquidating, to get liquid, because he knew it was coming. So it wasn't a surprise. You and me knew it was coming. He definitely knew it was coming. And his attorneys have now admitted, yeah, we've known this was coming for some time, which is why we've been moving the way we've been moving. But they're definitely going to try to liquidate him. That's what the whole point of this is to liquidate him. Absolutely. Now, as far as any tapes he has or whatever, it wouldn't matter if he got Bill Clinton at the freak off. They're after him. They're after him. So remember, they only let you go after yourself. They're not going to help you go after nobody else. So you'll have a whole big ass video and they'll tell you that didn't happen. Case in point, need I remind you all, what's that? The Iranians, I think it was, hacked one of Donald Trump's computers or something like that. There was a story here a few months ago. They hacked some of their personal campaign information or whatever and gave it to the Democrats and gave it to the media. The media has not publicized it. They haven't published it. They haven't reported it. I mean, they reported that they got it and then said they're not going to disclose it. So there's a big piece of information. Every news outlet's got it. And they said, yeah, we're not going to report on this because of how it was obtained. Because of how it was obtained and what their motives are. We're not going to report on it. So
what if he sent it to some people like Al Jazeera?
Well, I mean, here's the whole real point. I mean, you can try it. They definitely can. But the real point is what I'm showing you is how the media operates. So even if you did, remember, your gun ain't smoking unless they let it smoke. You ain't got no gun. I don't give a damn. You sitting there with a howitzer. And you ain't got a gun. If we say you don't have a gun, you ain't got one. So that's the box you find yourself in that regard. Anything on those tapes only matters to the extent that they want it to matter. Furthermore, he doesn't have any leverage. I mean, it's a weird situation because in the case of like Nicky Barnes or whatever, you can sell out the rest of the organization. You see what I mean? Diddy doesn't have that option. There's nobody, he can't round up everybody else. They only want him. In Nicky Barnes' case and Frank Lucas's case, they wanted all of his runners. They wanted the organization. They wanted him to tell them how far it is. In Diddy's case, they already have the organization. Now they just want him.
If what you say is true, and the only thing he got out of it, according to the document, is sexual gratification, if his lawyer is worth anything, he can beat this case.
Please remember that the feds in the United States have a 97, 98% conviction rate. And remember, you're in federal courts, so these are federal courts and federal prosecutors, and they work together all the damn time. And furthermore, remember, it's a court system, not a justice system. So, no, sir. In a just world, yeah, this wouldn't have even happened. The fact it's made it this far is the frightening part about it. To make an example. Now, they can make their arguments, and he's certainly got, representation for it. They can make their arguments, but please understand one thing. People, there are 5 or 6 laws in America on the books criminalizing anything you could name. I'm not exaggerating. That video on YouTube with millions of views where the guy says, do not talk to the police under any circumstances. The first thing he told them is, there's a law to convict you for anything you do. Anything you say can be used against you because there's a law in the books that can criminalize anything you say or anything you do. It's already there. Already. So, brother, they've indicted him under the Mann Act. They're not even hiding it now. Oh, yes, the Mann Act. Yep. You mean the white slavery one? Yeah. I mean, well, it's not like it's Jack Johnson or anything. Brother, we already there. So, like I say, in the just world, what you're saying makes perfect sense. You're not in the just world. You're in the court. You're in the white supremacist one.
One final point, Jason, and I'll let you go. Regarding Kamala Harris, we all know her statement when she said, "You expect me to only do something for black people?" And then she said, "No." It would have, if she considers herself black, she would have said, "Do you only expect me to do something for my people?" She didn't say that.
She wasn't running yet. I mean, she didn't have time enough to think it over, and she wasn't actually in the front runner seat yet. So she said that because she didn't think many people were listening.
I listened.
Let's just be clear. Kamala Harris she didn't think there were that many people going to be paying attention to that. She figured she would say that and then would move on to the next thing. So that's a testament to what happens when people are actually paying attention. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Pure Water here on Zoom. Let me see if we can get Pure Water here on Zoom. We'll try this one more time. Pure Water. If Pure Water is not here on Zoom, permanent vacation. So Pure Water, let's give you about 10 seconds here to get everything going for us here. Go ahead and turn your microphone, your camera on for me so we can make sure that you are a good, honest, upstanding individual. If we don't have that, then we'll have to do some reporting here. So one or the other. All right, sir. I'm going to give you one last chance to get over here. We can see you. Okay, sir.
Name is on.
Okay, sir. You need to back up some. There you go. All right, sir. And what is on your mind, sir?
I was told to hit the Zoom meeting. I asked a question in the chat, and my question was directed at the people in the chat who are typing in free Diddy. I'd never heard you say that, so and I have no disagreement to anything you said.
Okay, well, definitely. I think that you made a statement, sir. So if you make a statement, you should stand by your statement. You know.
The question was, if Cassie was your aunt or your sister or something to that effect, would you still be screaming P. Diddy? And would you
still be screaming free Diddy, not P. Diddy? But I get your point.
Free P. Diddy, yes, and that's directed to the people. You didn't say that, so I'm not saying you said that. This is directed to the people in the chat who were typing that in.
Okay, well, let me find out here from you here. I get what you're saying, but I'm trying to find out for your edification. What's your point?
So I think maybe one of my biggest takeaways from all this is we need to stop waiting for white society to root out our scumbags. Like, I 100% agree. Yeah, the charges, against P. Diddy and that RICO lawsuit are like ridiculous. The mentioning of the 1,000 bottles of lube, for example, like it's comedy. It's
okay, but that's literally in a federal indictment. That was literally something that they thought was significant enough. So that's character. Obviously, this is an attempted character assassination. But here's my issue, sir. I asked you a straightforward question. Well, we need to get better at rooting out our scumbags, sir. Will you please tell me, when has white society ever said those words in response to white supremacists acting against us?
When does white society ask that question?
Because here's the fallacy in sit up, sir. Sit up, sir. I don't know what you're doing. Here's the fallacy in what you're saying. The fallacy in what you're saying is we're not the ones who indicted Diddy. The white government did. Stop. Stop.
Why not?
Stop. Before you think or speak, let that sink in for a moment. Don't just sit there to respond. Actually absorb what you just heard. You said we need to get better at rooting out our scumbags. Understood. But that's not what's happening here. That's not what's occurring. Okay. And yet that's what you're cheerleading for. So stop, sir. Stop and listen. Stop and listen. I'm repeating your words. You didn't take a moment to think before you said it. It's time to take a moment to think. Okay, sir, learn something. You didn't think this is cognitive. This is a teaching moment. You didn't think about the full ramifications of what you were feeling. I'm not feeling anything. I'm thinking. Well, if Diddy needs to be handled, quote, by us, I'm not going to sit up here when I see the court system showing up, and they are never in our best interest. well, we need to do that. Okay, but you eliminated the we soon as they showed up because they are not we. And you will never have a mechanism, sir. You do not, you've already conceded, you don't have a mechanism to go and flip that script and enact this same thing in white society. There is no white folk not sitting around talking about we need to police our scumbags. We need to police George Zimmerman and Daniel Penny. You notice you never hear that over there from them. And I'm just questioning, sir, why? Why do you think that is? That they never say what you just said. Why do you think that is?
Why would you expect a scumbag to call?
Okay, sir, we're not. No, sir. We don't answer a question with a question. I asked you a question. Why is it that we don't hear them speaking the way you are?
Dishonest people, and I'm answering. Why would you expect dishonest people to call out dishonest people?
Oh, good. Well, now that you have conceded that they are the dishonest party, then you are supposed to be objecting to everything they bring to you. Oh boy! Now I said that, and he didn't say that's true. He just he walked right by it.
We shouldn't need them. We shouldn't need a white society. We shouldn't wait for a federal indictment to call out, to root out R. Kelly, for example. We shouldn't wait for a federal indictment to root out anybody. Like if that's what we, if we want to be self-policed, okay, then we shouldn't be in the chat room screaming out a free Diddy. Like, I'm curious.
No, sir. People are saying that because the simple response is, by the way, we are not going to co-sign the system dictating a greater degree of persecution for us than they do for their people. Until you exercise this legal apparatus beast against them the same way, we're not going to co-sign anything until after you do that. Does that make sense? Because here's the issue. If you sit up here and say, oh, well, they still ain't acting right. Well, two wrongs don't make it right. Then you're saying that you're letting them off the hook. So what we're saying is, no, we're not going to endorse or co-sign another indictment until you deal with the list we gave you.
Agreed. 100%. Now, can we also, in the same breath, can both things be true? Can we also have a higher standard, for the people who we call our icons? I've heard this word.
Sir, it's not about an icon. I don't care if you call him an icon or not. He's not an icon to me. I wouldn't care whether it's him or somebody else. He's not an icon to me. The only difference we have here is that we're all aware of who he. The only issue here is we are all aware of who he is. The bottom line is either we have a principle, sir.
Is your chat room?
Either we have a principle that we stand by or not. My principle is we've brought you a list of white supremacists for the last century that you ain't moved a finger for. But all of a sudden, you're sitting up here giving me all of Diddy's sins? To hell with that. I'm not so weak-minded that I'm going to overlook the fact that, hey, you ain't dealt with this list of folk I brought you decades ago.
Agreed. And Diddy is just
okay. Then everything stops until you deal with what we brought you. Just like with reparations, I don't want to hear about LGBT, illegal aliens, wars in Ukraine, or nothing else. I meant what I said. Cut the check. You're not going to take me off a message, off code. You're not going to take my eye off the ball. You're not going to take us off subject. I meant what I said. You've stalled on this long enough. Brother, listen to me. Get this through your head. We can go back and get Diddy anytime we want to. As evidenced by the fact that the stuff they're talking about is over a decade old. We can go back and get him whenever. Why we got to be pressed to go do this now? These other folk been sitting out there longer than him. How is it that he jumped the line? Folk who've been sitting out there longer than him with worse evidence against them, and Diddy jumps the line. Bill Cosby jumps the line. R. Kelly jumps the line. No, to hell with that. Carolyn Bryant needs to get put back in her place in line. And if you're not doing that, and I'm like, okay, all bets are off. I'm not playing this game. I see what you're doing, and I'm not playing this game. We can go back and get him whenever. I will get him right after you do what you're supposed to do.
Question for you. Would we have ever pulled a P. Diddy's card if it wasn't for the white media? This is a question.
First of
Would we
all,
have pulled a R. Kelly's
sir,
card?
first of all, was there a card to pull?
Absolutely.
Okay, sir. First of all,
Okay,
that's
morally or legally? Morally or legally?
Well, sir, in R. Kelly's case, everybody knew about that since the 90s. We knew about that with Aaliyah. Them girls, here's the issue right here. When folk like you say the things you're saying, it's disingenuous because when folks like you say those kind of things, that's disingenuous because R. Kelly didn't act alone. And yet,
folk like me,
sir, why don't you you're being emotional. You're being emotional. Calm down. You're being emotional. Listen.
Try to assess my character.
Sir, I'm not assessing character here. I'm repeating your words. R. Kelly did not act alone. R. Kelly had all them girls, their parents and their kinfolk, they were in on it with them. Okay, but sir, you and the rest of them folk were not saying, by the way, before we get him, where are all the people who marched them gals up there? Now, you're talking about Diddy today, and you're talking about Cassie today. You haven't said a word about the parents that they let off the hook.
I don't need to. I could have let. Let's do it this way. Let's leave.
Okay, so you're only concerned about the scumbags who got a record deal. All the rest of the folk who are part of it, that doesn't bother you.
No. So I'm not. This isn't a selective morality thing with me. I'm posing your whatever issue you're trying to place on me. That's my issue with the chat. I'm asking that. I agree with what you're saying. I have no.
Yes, sir. What I've done is I've pointed out the flaw. I've pointed out the logical flaw in what you've said. What you said is basically flawed.
Right now we're mixed. So we're obfuscating morality and.
No, sir. We're not obfuscating. No, we're not obfuscating morality. We're obfuscating. You are trying to ignore legality. You're naming a bunch of folk jumping the line, and then you're defending it, and we're saying no. That is number one. It is unjust, but number two, it's also illegal. You got cases that you are ignoring.
That's okay, but you're saying that.
Now, do you hear it? Okay, I'm going to get. Sir, I mean, I explained to you. I explained to you where your deficiency. Sir, I explained to you where your deficiency was. There's nothing you're saying, and nothing you're going to say that justifies that, sir. These other folk we talking about have jumped the line. We're not. You got P. Diddy is there. You can grab him so he can jump the line. Okay,
do you agree with the
sir?
That
No, sir.
Okay.
What is the motive behind? No, sir. No. Listen to what I'm telling you. What is the motive behind endorsing Diddy jumping the line? What's the motive behind it?
I'm not endorsing anything. I'm also not going to type free Diddy in the chat. Nor am I going to show up
until we deal with these other folk, sir. Until what we're saying is pause on Diddy, figuratively and literally, until we deal with these other folk.
Someone to type in the chat room, free people.
Okay, sir. When they say that, what we're saying is that's not letting Diddy off the hook. We're saying no, we're not, sir. We're saying that we are not gonna, sir. Calm yourself down, sir. Calm yourself down. Last time, calm yourself down.
I'm calm, sir. Go ahead.
Everybody here understands you're the only oddball out who does not get it. We said it a million times and it's still not registering to you. We are not gonna move this in the needle forward any further. We're saying pause on everything until they deal with what we brought them first, because that was first in line. So no, pause his case. With no bail. He's taking up a jail cell that Carolyn Bryant's supposed to be in. Y'all have overlooked. So she's not in the jail cell, but he is. No, pause. No, stop everything. We got arrest to do. No, you got the arrest we told you to do. You go deal with those. Pause everything. Well, they gonna walk the streets. You're letting them walk the streets. Deal with the ones we brought you already, and then you can get to these others. So when you hear them saying that, what they're telling you is we're saying freeze, pause on everything. We're not playing this game anymore. No more, no movement on the Diddy case in any way. He shouldn't even be in there because the stuff we brought you was years old. How did you make the time to go get him? We're objecting to that part. We're not going to play that game. No more movement on anybody else's cases until you deal with the ones we've already brought you.
Right. So in the meantime,
wow.
If the police just so happens to arrest someone else and it comes out that he's a pedophile and he's everyone's favorite rapper or singer, are we going to pause on that too? I'm just curious.
No, sir. What I'm saying is that they should be taken as they were brought in. First come, first served.
It's not. I mean, that's unfortunate.
Sir, what is your objection to first come, first served?
I don't have it, but I'm saying that's not how the justice system
sir,
works.
it's not a but.
Guy, you seem like
what happened? What is your you're objecting to first come, first served? We got plenty of evidence on all these other folk. They're refusing to do anything with them. So therefore, first come, first served.
Mr. Jason Black, you are a very, very intelligent person. You know the justice system doesn't work on a sequential first come, first served basis.
And you should not, and nobody should be so silly as to go along with a system that's deliberately showing you that it is not working legally or morally.
I'm also not going along with the fact that, hey, let's scream free P. Diddy because he's black. And all
sir,
this, why are you trying to tear down our black icons? Let's get all that shit the hell out of here.
Sir,
please, and thank you.
Sir, where are your people from? And you know there's a reason I'm
going to do this game. All right, so so like Who would you like first, sir? My father's side or my mother's side? Because we're gonna see. Okay, is he non-FBA? Like, are we gonna play this game?
Second time, sir. Where are your people from?
Father's from the Bronx, mother's from Southern Maryland.
No, your dad's not from the Bronx. But thank you for saying the Bronx. Because we all know that the Caribbean runs the Bronx. So where's your grandfather from?
I don't have a Caribbean blood percent of blood in my family. All my grandparents, all my great grandparents were born on the United States soil.
Last time, where's your grandfather from?
Which one? On which side? Paternal or maternal?
The Caribbean side. The one that ended up in the Bronx.
Okay, funny guy. All right, so on my father's side or my mother's side?
Okay.
You ask questions.
I'm gonna let that answer that. So y'all see he's going round and round in circles and playing dumb, but I just wanted to show you all that right there. Jason, how do you know? Simple question, sir. We from the Bronx. Y'all have been with me long enough that now all of you know when you hear the Bronx, Brooklyn, and when you hear that New York thing, it's like, oh, okay, there it is. There it is. Sir, where they from? Which one you want? Yeah. Are we gonna play this game? Which one you want? Okay. All right. When you see somebody back in the system that hard, well, the system ain't right, but we wrong too. We as our own worst enemies. Okay. All right. I'm not guessing my way through this. I'm not guessing my way through it. It took a while to contact us too, by the way, so I'm not sure which screen name he was using, but if he got hidden, I can go ahead and we can unhide him if I figure out what his screen name was. I've got Patrice here on Zoom. Patrice, I can't see you. If you're getting ready to audition your OnlyFans, baby, it's not tonight. Pick a different night. Not tonight, though.
Okay, how about now?
You are out of focus. There you go. That's better. Okay, you're out of focus. All right, Patrice, what's on your mind?
So, just to address the last caller with that first come, first serve, there are a lot of people who just don't acknowledge that, oh God, I'm so nervous. That people they're not addressing the issue at hand. So Diddy's, and I want to also go back to another caller. Diddy's not our icon. White people named him as our icon. We've been side-eyeing him since Shine. There are plenty of white artists who've made songs in the 80s about having sex with underage girls. There's literally a song by a group, I think it's called Poison. I don't know. It's called She's Only 17. And, nobody even acknowledges that. So this has been going on for ages. And they make jokes about it. They have cartoon characters that make jokes about having sex with underage girls. And, it's not even acknowledged. And that's all I really wanted to say. Like,
I mean, look, there's nothing new about those things, but then you got a bunch of white men. Hollywood is infested with pedophiles. They are major producers, directors, on CEOs of boards of these companies. Let's just stop the garbage. Hollywood is infested with it. They only went after Michael Jackson, who wasn't guilty of anything. And yet Hollywood is over. Folks trip over pedophiles and rapists in Hollywood every damn day. And yet you don't see this kind of thing happening. So what I'm saying, no, we need to get everybody, but that's not what they're doing. So as a person interested in justice, I'm not going to back and co-sign. Obviously, you are discriminating with that. I'm not going to, only against us. I'm not going to co-sign that. If we are not all equally comfortable, we will all be equally uncomfortable. That's what it will be. When you decide to stop your foolery, then we can all be equally comfortable. But I am not going to sit here, watch you practicing injustice and then say, oh, well, did it wrong with that right there. We'll come back to him. What are we going to do about him? We're going to get him right after you get all these other. So we're going to overlook George Zimmerman so we can focus our energies on Diddy. Every time we tell him, hey, what about Zimmerman? Oh, and not enough evidence. There's plenty of evidence right here. Why are we you're not even discussing it? So why is he jumping the line? No, first come, first serve. There's plenty of damn evidence. Plenty of it. I'm just not playing no games with you. No, Diddy's case is paused until you deal with this docket that's 50 years old.
Agreed. And I just want to add, I watch true crime all the time, like all the shows on Lifetime and all that. And there are multiple seasons of white people doing just the most heinous things. And they still want to make us the face of crime, even like as regular people and celebrities. And, like you said, let's get them.
There are still people who need to be arrested for the murder of Malcolm X.
Amen to that.
Ben Crump is trying to file lawsuits for that. There's still people who need to be arrested for the murder of Malcolm X. And you talking about Diddy. So that's what the New York feds are focused on. Please understand that. They're not investigating the murder of Malcolm X 50 years later. Oh, that's too bad. Diddy, we can get that one. Malcolm, we're not really sure about that. But then again, they've been telling us the same damn thing now for 50 years. Remember, right after the man was killed, there's no evidence. That's what they always tell you. We don't have any witnesses. There's no evidence. Cold case. It's not enough. They said that the day after he was killed. They said that the year after he was killed, 10 years later. Here we are 50 years later. Oh, yeah, the police were in on it. The FBI was in on it. Well, I'll be damned, because you've been saying the exact opposite for 50 years. Well, what are you going to do about it now? Well, it's too old and there's not enough evidence. Well, I'll be damned. So it's the same answer no matter what. Okay, how about we do this? Ain't nothing gonna move until you deal with this. How about that one? We're not gonna back nothing and nothing moves. You gonna say that in public? I'm saying it right now. Nothing moves until you get done with this. How about that? Hey, if y'all hurry up and deal with these other cases, the sooner you can get to Diddy. Soon as you finish what we brought you all this damn time, I'll free the lane up for everything. Resources freed up, everything else is great right there. It looks great by then. Y'all still sitting up here fighting us about, in the chat room, Fred Hampton, the Black Wall Street. Yeah, you'll have plenty of time and resources for Diddy when you get done with the stuff we told you to do. I'm not going to play this game where you stall us, and then everybody's dead. Oh, well, now we can't do anything because they're all gone. You sat there telling us lies the whole damn time. How about you don't back our play, we're not backing yours. How about that one? Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. If the folk we brought you are not worth going after, then nothing you bring us is worth going after. Then they start threatening us. Y'all notice that? The caller from the Bronx. They start threatening us with it. Well, if you let them go loose like that, I'll be there. Every time they don't do what they're supposed to do, well, Trump don't get you. If you don't let me do what I'm going to do, these other folk over here, they going to get you. So far as I see, you're the only one getting me. Right now, you're the only one getting me. Let me go see if I can get Gavin here on Zoom. All right, Gavin, what's on your mind? On Zoom. Turn off your speaker, sir.
Yeah, what's going on, Jason? How you doing this evening?
What's on your mind, Gavin?
All right. Just tuning in the broadcast. I'm loving everything you're saying. But I just want to address what the caller was stating earlier, the other caller. We don't control, as you already know, the justice system. Other people, and I look at Diddy and I look at R. Kelly, everybody is focusing on what supposedly happened with with R. Kelly, the stuff with Aaliyah, the child pornography thing and so forth. R. Kelly was not convicted on any of that on a federal law. He was convicted for violating the Mann Act and trafficking and RICO statutes. Same thing with Diddy. And everybody knows this, especially with Diddy and with R. Kelly. The RICO laws were created to go after the mafia. They were created to go after the John Gottis and so forth. Do you equate a hip hop mogul like Diddy with John Gotti or Russell Buffalino or these other mafia guys? And the answer should be no. So it tells you that there's some type of, and it's not that I'm defending what these men did in their lives, especially the thing with Cassie, the video that we saw, and even what R. Kelly supposedly has done. That's not the issue, but people will say, well, we need to get them off the street. They're just ugly and so forth. And you got to realize something. Well, while we're playing games with stuff like this and condoning it, what can happen to R. Kelly and Diddy several years from now? That can happen to you. Think of this. If you're a mogul, if you are a multimillionaire in Black America, you're going up against a company like Diddy had the issues with Diego, and Bill Cosby's trying to buy NBC. All of those things like that, which come to play in mind, they can use the justice system and weaponize it against you and destroy not only your legacy, but also your generational wealth that you're having for your children. And that's something very important people need to pay attention to, because in that indictment, and I'll end it with this, Jason, if you saw the end of the paragraph of the indictment, they were specifically stated that any monies that Diddy had that he may have transferred, he may have brought, they're going to actually try and go after that if he's convicted. So his kids won't be getting any of that.
Well, that's why he's trying to liquidate it now, and you're absolutely right in that regard. When they start invoking those things, that's for everybody. And the Mann Act has just been sitting there for a damn century now.
Right.
And even when you explain to people, hey, this is a law that's only used for you. You have never heard about the Mann Act being used on a white man. Tell me the last all these white dudes out there and whatnot, and the Mann Act is not being invoked on them. It's only being invoked on us a century later. And then they're going to tell you, oh, ain't no white supremacy. Really? But the only time the Mann Act gets dragged out is when a black person's there. No, I'm just not going to. That's a game none of us should be silly enough or slow enough to play. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get Greg here on Zoom. Folks, you got a white slavery act, and the only folk getting indicted for the black folk. It was made to catch black men, and a century later, it's only catching black men. I'm like, okay, I don't care what you think of the person involved. It's like, hey, we can't use that one.
Catch black men.
Greg, turn your speakers off, sir.
Sorry about that.
All right, sir, what's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, sir? Thank you for taking me tonight. Love the topic tonight. That guy, 2 calls before that guy. Yeah, I had a rough time early in life. I did some federal time in the penitentiary, and there were guys. I met some of the smartest men I met in my life in the penitentiary, but I also met some of the dumbest ones. He was one of those guys, just nigga-splaining as you calling it. But this Diddy thing, I'm so glad you're talking on it, because like it's felt wrong. Like, what can they? Everything that he's being accused of is something they really can't prove. And why is it RICO? Like, he's not doing anything that any other rich person has done, you know? Like, why isn't Vince McMahon getting a RICO Act charge then, you know?
Well, because the real issue here is to expand it. We all know RICO is made specifically for the mafia. Now, every time you turn around, they're using it for rappers. So you can see what you're doing there. You're setting the precedent that this is a statute that we use for deconstructing black businesses. Now this isn't Young Thug. We've entered a new zone where they're saying we're criminalizing sex as currency. So sex is now currency. We've leapt out of racketeering. Sex is currency now, and you're running an enterprise for sexual gratification, and that's the currency of it. Do you realize the door you open with something like this? Of course they do. And what will happen is it'll only be used where you're involved. Just you. Even if you walk in there with a ton of evidence, the white person's doing the same thing, you know how this goes. Oh, well, not enough there. So they'll selectively, it's the same as everything else. The war on drugs and everything else, it'll just be used when you show up.
So do you think Jay-Z is next?
Everybody is asking that question. For some of the folks who ask it, I don't know if they're just asking it because they want something to happen. I will say one thing. Jay-Z better watch his back.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I will say. Jay-Z, you better be careful. Because remember,
white supremacy always destroys its tools.
Look, in the last 5 years, the 3 biggest rappers in the world, they tried to go after Kanye. Remember, they tried to criminalize him. They couldn't figure out a way to make it happen. He got his girlfriend naked overseas and whatnot. They tried to criminalize that. Is he going to face charges? So every time you turn around, they're trying to figure out how to criminalize you. So they've already taken their pass at Diddy. Their pass at Kanye. They ain't done with him. They're going to be back for him. Drake.
Drake.
Okay, just saying. Oh, Drake. Oh, were those minors, Drake? They buzz by you now. Right now, they're not going to do anything to Drake right now because he's got $100 million deals. They're making these folk a bunch of money. But when Drake's popularity runs out, watch them come for him. They got to juice him first, and we got to squeeze all of it out. But once we get all of the value out of you, and they already tipped their hand about what they're going to come at him for. It's like, by the way, we'll come back for you. We got time. Now, Diddy, we done grabbed him. Jay-Z, all I'm going to say is watch your neck.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they coming for you. I'm saying if they have a chance, they will. They've clearly letting you know you might not be on the menu, but you are definitely on their minds.
It seems like 50 Cent is the only one that's figured these people out and knows how to like keep a target off his back.
Well, 50 already did his time. So there's the first thing. Diddy already did prison time, so he understands, he's a little bit better about that. These guys were out here, and one of the issues that happened, remember, Diddy beat the first case, remember?
Yeah.
So he beat the rap the first time, and a lot of fellas don't take that as I'm lucky. Snoop Dogg took that as I'm lucky. When he was on trial for his life, he beat the case, and he's like, hey, I was lucky. I got to flush straight from here on in. Diddy didn't take that as I'm lucky. Diddy took that as I'm untouchable. And so rather than do what Snoop did, he just kept going back, and he's been just counting on NDAs to protect him. And for a while they did. For a while. Then you have the issue for here, and I said this when it happened before. Diddy would not be in this mess right now if he had pardon the expression, fought that lawsuit. If he had just refused to pay her and just like, you know what, let's just go to court. Whatever you're going to say, whatever you're going to do, you can go ahead and do that, but I'm not paying you. I'll pay my lawyers, but I'm not going to pay you. If that had happened, you know what she's going to do. She's going to get up there and say, oh, he's gay. And the real thing is she would have had to be in the media. Only thing you're going to be bashing him over is, oh, he's gay. He's gay. So now there's a problem with him being gay. Is that what you're saying, Cassie? You have a problem with gay folk? So that's what would have happened. He was afraid of deposition. And there's a good reason to be afraid of it, but he was afraid of deposition, where they would be questioning him. It's going to be recorded, and you're going to ask him all these questions about all these people. That doesn't require a trial. That happens way before you get there. That's what Diddy was afraid of, because deposition is court record. That's public record. So he was afraid. He was afraid that he would be questioned on camera and would have to answer those questions, so that at that point, whether it goes to trial or not, this is going to be court record. That was what he wanted to prevent happening. And I would have advised him, not as a lawyer, but as a person who would know him. I'm like, dude, you open this Pandora's box, and I'm not worried about other people winning because they're not going to be able to beat you. I'm worried that this opens up something bigger. And if you fight her and show her that you're willing to face this down, that'll stop anybody else from thinking they can try this, including the feds. Now they'll know you're ready to go to the mat for this, and they can't hold that over your head. He was determined to conceal it. And that emboldened her. And here's the crazy part, brother. And then she went to the feds and snitched anyway. Right. One more thing. You paid her off to keep her quiet, and then she immediately went and snitched to the feds anyway.
Treacherous.
So you'd have been better off just going ahead and fighting her in the first place, because this is where we're gonna be. I'm like, brother, you know the drill. You've been in the joint. If it's going down, it's going down. Let's go. Yeah. If it's going down, it's going down. There ain't no reason to stall this or put this off to tomorrow. It's going down. It's going down.
That should have been a hill he was willing to die on.
Brother, when they coming for you, they coming.
Now look, they coming. They come, yeah. That's right.
He could have fought this in a position of strength.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I really appreciate it. Hey, 2 callers go. That was my lady. I'm so proud of her. I'm about to go over there and get her the business. You have a good night, brother.
TMI. Oh, he did that to mess with me. TMI. Folks, please don't share everything. All right, let me see if I can get Tyler up here on Zoom. Tyler, wake up. Can I get Tyler on Zoom? Okay, Tyler is out of focus there.
I know, I'm trying. I got the light on.
Tyler, well, don't. I don't want you to get a wreck out there. It looks like you're driving around. Okay, to the extent I can see. It looks like a Michael Bay film there with lens flares. All right, Tyler, what's on your mind?
Man, Jason, I think you're killing it tonight. It was interesting. I every now and again I'll go and do some research on ChatGPT, and I was researching this exact thing on how they, like with Carolyn Bryant, they always let their criminals get away until death, because in their mind, based on what ChatGPT was saying, when someone who's a criminal dies, it then becomes a moral and historical wrong. And so it's easier to walk away from. So their game, what I was seeing is just keep them alive, keep them unprosecuted while they're alive. And then once they die, then we can talk about it, we can moan about it, but dang, we can't hold anyone responsible because they've passed away. And that seems like their game. What do you think about that?
No, that's absolutely what they've been doing there. Look, the whole point about white supremacy is avoiding consequences, because once there are consequences, when you set that precedent, it makes it easier to enforce it going forward. So the Jewish society understood this after World War II. And they've been playing by no damn rules. They blowing up pagers to this day, blowing up pagers and cell phones. They doing the most out there. After World War II, they had Nazi hunters. And as you all know, it didn't matter what country you were in. The state of Israel did not respect national boundaries. If you were somebody they deemed to be a Nazi and we're going to get you, we're going to go get you. Your nation, we're violating sanctions, we violate nations, national borders. There is no national border that will protect you from the Mossad. If they say you going, you going. When we show up, all of a sudden, it's something different. So these other folk, it doesn't matter how old you are. And please remember, for those of you who don't realize it, the definitions of the folks they went after have degenerated over time. It used to be that you had to be a Nazi officer, somebody in authority, in order to be subject to Nuremberg and the Nazi hunters. That's what it always was recognized as. You had to be somebody in authority. Soldiers were just followed. Soldiers were exempt because they're soldiers. You can't tell soldiers not to ignore their governments. You don't want to set that precedent. Employees, well, she's just the secretary. She didn't actually take part in the killings. Over the last 7 decades, they have expanded those definitions to anybody and everybody who was there. But that's a result of giving them the authority to go grab the first ones. When they did that, they started inching it out further and further. Now you 102 years old, and they're like, and you will spend your last days in this jail cell for what you did 70 years ago. And
Exactly.
We need to be on the exact same thing. No mercy, no forgiveness, no stalling. I'll let you have the last word.
Absolutely. And it brings something interesting to mind. Now that the Holocaust is nearing its centennial anniversary, is society now, in the same way they asked Black Americans to move away from slavery because it's a historical wrong, once we get to 2045, are we then as a society going to demand that Jewish people walk away from the Holocaust?
Some people are already trying that. The Tucker Carlsons and things, some of them are already trying that because what they realize is that what they've been saying is that, yeah, Black folk have been citing Jewish people as our justification for reparations. So what did they start doing? They started taking Jewish folk to task. So they've been trying to chip away at that. Now, what will happen by 2045? There's the reason why Jewish people didn't wait around for some moral compass. When they came out of World War II, they immediately went into law. Every Jewish person who could went to a law school. They started in Hollywood and they built it from there. So banking, media, the courts, politics, these places that were weaponized against them. They didn't matter what you wanted to do as a Jewish kid. You going to law school. You're the parents. You're going to law school. We ain't backing nothing else. You're going, and then after law school, you're going to politics. They had an organized societal strategy. That's the only thing that will protect them going forward. As the Anglos start chipping away at that, going forward, them remaining tight-knit in that regard, that if nobody else is going to defend our interests, we will. That's what you're going to have going forward.
B1 Jason.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. And by the way, furthermore, that is the right thing to do. Oh yeah, one more thing, and that is the correct thing for them to do. 6 million dead simply because you're breathing? We don't like you because we think you got some Negro heritage in you about 1,000 years ago. That hair's a little bit too curly. Well, that is the correct thing to do. Round up all your Nazis. What I'm saying is we need to round up all the Nazis here in America. We need to round up our Nazis. Oh, we ain't got time for that. Well, why not? I gave you the list 5 decades ago. Oh, we're busy this afternoon. Busy doing what? Gotta go get Diddy. You know what? Pause on that. Every time I tell you to go get these white supremacists, you bring me an excuse for why you too damn busy. You wouldn't accept that from your girlfriend if you wanted sex and old dude just got off the phone. There's a pause. You wouldn't accept that from somebody who owes you $50. Every time you see him, he talking about he busy. The next time you catch up to him is, okay, are you too busy for this ass whooping you about to get? I got a feeling we about to make time for this ass whooping. You ain't got my money? Okay. You about to make some time for something right now. I'll be damned playing them kind of games. No, Jewish society is absolutely correct and justified in how they're handling it. Absolutely. Mike, unmute yourself. This newfangled technology has him confounded. Mike, unmute yourself. Y'all, he is trying to talk into the camera with the mute thing on. I pressed the ask him to unmute.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Well, what he say? This microphone icon. I don't know what this do.
Right.
I'm not sure this mic. I can't be heard through the mic. What's this mic icon
Can you
do?
hear me?
Right. Yes, Mike, we hear you.
Sorry about that. Great show. Sorry about
now I got to get him. Mike, okay. Mike, who is your Mike? I got to do
Snaggletooth,
it.
Yep. I'm gonna put it out there.
Only because you said it's a show.
A lie.
I got to get you. Only because you said it's a show. All right,
It's okay.
Mike, what's on your mind?
No. But no, I was gonna say, like I said, I like your marching orders about, waiting. I mean, we got to put everything. Everybody got to be uncomfortable if we uncomfortable. And to our people who don't understand that, like the other caller, like we want to outsource our justice punishment to other communities and stuff like that. That's a sign of weakness, right? So we got to do things in a correct order. Things have to be done for us, and then everything can proceed. I love that. And also, I forgot, I was just reading a book. I don't know if you want to, but this brother Wesley Muhammad, he put out this hip hop book out, and he breaks a good thing down about scholarly. He breaks it down about who's networked controlling Diddy and all that kind of stuff. So, like I said, guys, I love the order, and I just wanted you to touch on that as far as just the network of others who control these people, and then they, like you said, like a dog, they got people like a Pavlovian response.
Well, I mean, we've been conditioned, both the folks that are going after and the folks who are listening. We've all been conditioned. That's why we say this is a system. It's systemic. It's at every level. As Brother Neely Fuller has taught us, it's operating at every single level. So this is what we always try to teach people, is that you think you're free. And the real thing is, you're not free until you start resisting. Now you're free. But you need to question everything. And questioning everything means having the guts to sit up here and say, yeah, this might be, quote, controversial to some, but I'm questioning everything. So I'm not going to just go along with nothing. I'm questioning everything you're saying. You will not bully me into not doing it. I'm going to bully you, shame me this. No, you're not going to take me off of focus. You're not going to take me off subject, and you're not going to bully me into questioning this. I see what I see. Remember, white supremacy isn't a secret. That's the great evil of all of this. Nobody's hiding it. They're on the damn courthouse steps in Alabama. Nobody's hiding it. It operates in plain open view. So what does that mean? The real question is whether or not you will ignore what's sitting right in front of you. That's all. This is all about who's going to go back to picking the cotton. Right. Yes, I see this. I'm on the plantation, the man on the horse with the shotgun, shackled around my ankle, and back to picking the cotton. And who's going to resist? That's all this is about.
That's it. And like I said, I just keep doing your work. I support you, brother.
Well, brother, before you go here, who did you piss off in them streets, brother? He came back for a piece of your ass. What? Because you missing about two of them. What? Who did you upset?
Hey, I grew up in a hard situation in the ghettos of America, brother.
I'm just saying that nigga wrote that. There's a song on YouTube. There's a song.
Been in quite a few scuffles.
There's a song on YouTube. There's an AI song on YouTube called "Whoop That Ass."
Hit with a pipe. That's right.
Yeah, there's a song on YouTube called "Whoop That Ass," y'all. There's an AI song called "Whoop That Ass," and I'm just like, oh, brother,
Right.
he was talking about you when he's like, oh, this song is dedicated to Mike. I'm gonna whoop that ass, brother. Okay, well, thank you very much for giving us a call tonight.
Thank
We
you very
appreciate
much,
it.
brother.
Yeah, y'all. When I saw him, I thought about that artificial intelligence song and whoop that ass. I'm like, oh, I see the inspiration. I ain't trying to diss him or nothing right there. All I'm trying to say is he can eat a banana without opening his mouth. Yeah, y'all. I said, yes, he can drink a Coca-Cola without parting his teeth. Damn! Oh, the next time when that nigga said he wanted his money, he wasn't jiving. He meant that. Take it from Mike, y'all. Old boy said, the next time I see you. So, he meant that. I was like, oh, no, I'm serious. Next time I see you. Oh, I see you. All right. Folks, like I say, we ain't playing no games. We're not playing no games. We ain't playing around. You can like it, you can not like it. I'm calling it straight down the middle just like it is. Period. End of discussion. We're going to overlook all the crimes of the damn 20th century and the 21st century so we can sit up here and play around with somebody else. The hell we going to do that? The hell we are. Not going to happen. No. Every time all the folk we done gave you names of, they kick to the back. Every time it's their turn to get got after. Every time it's their turn to get got. You sitting up here telling us you don't have time for it, but you got time for everything else. Okay, how about we just derail this whole damn thing? And we ain't gonna do nothing till you take care of the business we brought to you. Everybody they talking about, they'll be there. Diddy been sitting there for 2 damn decades. He'll be right there. He ain't going nowhere. Diddy gonna be sitting right there. Right after you get done with Zimmerman, he'll be sitting right there. We gonna go take care of this business we told you about. All the rest of them folk you talking about will be sitting right there when you come back. We're gonna go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, sometimes on holidays. Click that red subscribe button, click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we are here. If you have not been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, go check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, and go to 8ammovie.com. We are beginning to roll out the theatrical rollout for our newest documentary film, 8 a.m. That is coming to you here. New York tickets are on sale. Everybody else here, patience. We know you're hungry. It's coming, and it'll be well worth your while. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. My man, brother Jean, thank you very much for your support tonight. We appreciate that. Cass, Keenan, everybody else here. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program. Thank you for watching live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.